Alright, so. Can you get me a marker?
Marker?
This is good.
Or Sharpie.
Yeah, Sharpie's fine. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to do a demonstration on squaring up 4 sides of this part. Right now, one of my assistants is going to get my Sharpie, and I'm going to mark my piece. Big flat side is side 1. The short side is side 2. The other short side is side 3. And the other flat one is side 4. Okay, so now that we got that, thank you. We put this in the machine on parallels. So it's sticking out a little bit. And lock that in place. Because this is such a wide piece, we're going to use the 3-inch face mill for it. That way we can cover the whole piece in one pass. So I want to program this, I'm going to run this at 5,000 RPM. We can run this really fast, so. Alright? You're running really fast. So. Bring it down and touch off on the top of the piece, and then we're going to drop it about 10 to 20 thousandths and take a cut. So this is very similar to touching off your tools when you're doing your setups. We get close, make sure you're in 1,000th increments so you stay safe. I'm going to line this up on the y-axis so it's right over the part, so we can do this in one cut. I'm going to bring it down real slow on the Z until I can see it touch. Back it off on the X. Now, like I said, I'm going to drop it down 10 thousandths to 20 thousandths about on the Z axis. Go to full spindle speed and just shave this off on the X. It's just a skim cut. Alright, now I'm going to take the part out. So we got this nice and clean.
Oh, it's shiny.
Getting it shiny and pretty. Alright.
I don't mind.
Deburr it first. And now, I don't actually need a parallel in this vise. If you had a smaller piece, you might have to have parallels in here. But we want to actually get these out of the way, because this is tall enough of a part that I can put side 1 against the back jaw here, the solid jaw, and it's still sticking out of the vise. Take a metal rod. This is just a piece of 3/4 inch scrap that I found. Put that in here. And that's what we're going to use to lock the part in place so it's flat against the back. Oops. Alright.
Did you cut it too hard?
Same thing, I'm just going to take a skim cut on this side. I'm going to bring my Z up. Up to full speed. Put on about 20 thousandths or so. Skim that side. now I'm going to take my part out and deburr it. You can see now we've got these two sides. These are nice and square corners now. All right. So side 1 is done. Side 2 is done. Now we're going to flip it upside down, do side 3. Again, make sure the clean side, side 1, goes against this joint. That will keep it parallel and perpendicular. So now we're going to bring it down a little bit more. Let's take a skim cut on side 3. Now, it's not to size yet. What I've got to do is I've got to measure it and find out, just like when you're cutting to length, you got to measure this thickness, and then we'll figure out how much more we have to take off to bring it to width. Can you get me your caliper, please? So we got 1, 2, and 3 done. Well, not 3's not done, but this thing's getting pretty squared up right now. All right, I got 1 inch 940. Thank you. And I want to bring this to 1 inch 900. So I'll put it back in the same way. Make sure there's no gunk in here. And I got to bring my Z down another 40 thousandths. So we can do just like we were doing when we're milling to length. I can go to the position screen, and I can right now I can say Z0 origin, so it wipes that out to 0. Now I can just see what I can go down to -40. -40 thousandths on the Z. Turn this back on. Cut it right to thickness. And I'll double check my thickness, and it's right at 1.900. Well, it's off by a half a thousandth of an inch. A half a thousandth of an inch is not bad, Maria. Don't have to worry about it. All right. So 1, 2, and 3 are done. Now we just got to do side 4, which is the thickness. So that means I got to put my parallels back in. All right. Don't forget, if you need to, put your parallels back in the vise. We're not using this anymore. We're done with the rod. So we're going to put it in so that side 1 is down, side 4 is up. On top of your parallels, nice and flat. I'm going to bring the tool down to touch. Take off about 10, 15 thousandths. See? At full speed. So we're just taking a skim cut so we can measure this again. We're going to measure our thickness and then take a final cut. So this is supposed to be 0.900. I got 0.958. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to set my Z to 0.
Listen, how are you setting your X's and Z's to 0? took the part out when she.
Well, it's a good question, right? So right now, no matter what we do, because we have parallels, right? We drop this into the exact same height every time we take it out and put it back in. It goes back to the same height that we had it before. The Y doesn't change either because it's against the back of here, and that's not movable. The only thing that's movable is the X, right? I'm not setting any X right now, right? I'm not setting my X, but the X is movable. I don't have to set the X right now. Does that make sense, though? Because every time I put it in there, it goes to the same spot on the Z-axis. Thank you. Thanks for asking. I'm going to do this. So I got 58 thousandths to go. How many cuts do you think I'll make? 2 cuts, good, because I don't want to go more than 50, right? So I'll bring this down to Z minus, say 58, right? 58. So I'll bring it Z minus 40. All right. So I'll just go down here, negative 40. I'll take 1 cut. I'll go to 58 and take the second cut. Full speed. All the way over. Now I'm going to bring it down to negative 58. Go back on the X, do my final cut. All right. My final measurement, and I got it right at 900 thousandths of an inch. So that's it. It's done on all 4 sides. The last thing you do is just do the milling to length on both ends like you typically do, right? And make sure you debury all your sharp edges. One thing I want to note is that when you're mounting and removing this tool bit, you got to be really, really careful because there are 4 sharp edges on it. So let me bring this up. Can someone get me a rag, please? Before I take this out, someone grab a rag for me, please.
Z0 home.
Thank you. So you definitely want to. You should use a rag to put these in, even though I didn't do that earlier. I should have. All right, because these 4 edges are extremely sharp. All right. Grab it like this. Take it out. So right here, this is the. You haven't really used this much yet, but this is the. I'll show you where to get these. All these tips are extremely, extremely hard and sharp, so you want to be really careful with this stuff, okay? And so that's it. That's how you use a face mill to take apart like this and mill the 4 sides square to each other. And now that we're done with this, you're gonna do it on your own. So you're not getting that one.
I want to touch it.
It's sharp. Be careful. All right, yeah. These over here, just so you know, I'll show you. You can stop.